Thank you for giving us a group of three. My name is Miriam Sengalika, NIM 2411009. I will present in the first part. Integrate approach for exploring critical elements that even sustainable the development of cultural and creative industries. Abstract. The cultural and creative industries is increasingly seen as a means of overcoming economic stagnation and promoting sustainable development. As such, they have become the focus cultural, social, and economic politics. Through the stimulus policy, the community development priorities the provision of cultural and creative research to effectively increase the capacity of city research producer ion makers in the cultural and creative sector to help them address gap in resources election between urban and rural areas. Florida noticed problems such as uniform regional development resulting from the emergence of creative cities, thus hinting that the development of creative cities can exacerbate social and economic inequality. Community development policy facilitate public regionalization of the close regionalship between and local economic and social development. It is a very effective in two aspects. First, promoting social escape for any social. Second, considered as a tool or channel that can consequently building a model for evaluating research election policy in a comprehensive manner to improve the efficiency of allocation of cultural and creative resources and stimulate local economic and innovative capacities of CCAs is recurrent.
My name is Marcelina Ferdinand Seran, NIM 2411015. Furthermore, addressing emerging problems such with our major shortage are capable of accommodating CCIs by examining simple aggregations of economic performance statistic interventions. The first study is Taiwan cities, simplest and creative resource allocation and Ministry of Economic Affairs statistical that represents study about entropy and grey relations analysis to identify success determining factors of CCIs in XKT. A proc has two advantages. One, entropy, we can reduce the noise from math operations and consequently enhance fidelity and OKRs. Two, comparative analysis between key success factors can be conducted to evaluate what's advantages and disadvantages of culture development across cities. Thus, a decision-making matrix formulated to generate suggestions for culture and creative resource allocation and sustainable development. The results can be applied in future research and policy developments related to CCIs to maximize resource benefits. That study expanded the research scope to enable the model to compare the characteristics and development. History of cultural and creative clashedance influence Taiwan's shadows and time space. The findings can be used to identify requirements for sustainable cultural and creative cultures development and contribute to the application of sustainable development. 1. Backgrounds. One by one. Culture pleasure for sustainable development. Globalization continues to blur geographic boundaries between regions and countries. Sustainable development in scale findings with the tool of globalization and the developments of traditional industry. Therefore, now we of regarding key points has emerged. Future urban development must be fight from the restrictions of traditional concepts that emphasize trading tangible facilities such as roads and buildings. Sustainable urban development must be unit focus on creativity and enhance city competitiveness guideline 2019. In addition to manufacturing and service industry, CCIs have become new core elements of sustainable economies. CCI should be established on the basis of the local cultures uniqueness to ensure they cannot be mass produced or be produced entirely and even 2016. The emphasis on unique city cultures facilities creativity and constitution and way to overcome negative fallout from globalizations. 7 characteristics shown by creative studies are some series for 1. Personal qualities. The primary element of creative studies is high quality human resources. 2. Will and leadership. Creativity leaders tend to be driving and efficient. 3. Human drive see the answers to be with talents. Shepherds, feminist culture, perpetuates in European history were characterized by developments of multicultural societies where all sides both innovate ideas, technologies, and creativity. 4. Organizational culture. Kitty avoids spends snake summons with they car equates when creativity which may include ongoing demonstrations, programs from fairs, organizations and departments cost, departments tax and infringement of benign competition between city organizations developments. 1. Backgrounds. One by one. Culture pleasure for sustainable development. Globalization continues to blur geographic boundaries between regions and countries. Sustainable development in scale findings with the tool of globalization and the developments of traditional industry. Therefore, now we of regarding key points has emerged. Future urban development must be fight from the restrictions of traditional concepts that emphasize trading tangible facilities such as roads and buildings. Sustainable urban development must be humanist focused and creativity and enhanced city company defense with dinner 2019. In addition to money, vaccine and service industry, CCIs have become new core elements of sustainable economies. CCI should be established on the basis of their local cultures uniqueness to ensure they cannot be mass produced or be produced thoroughly and even v 2016. The emphasis on unique city cultures facilities creativity and constitution and way to overcome negative fallout from globalizations. Seven characteristics shown by creative studies are some series for. 1. Personal qualities. The primary element of creative studies is high quality human. 3. Human diversity and sex to be with talents. Shepherds, feminist culture, perpetuates in European history were characterized by developments of multicultural societies where all sides both innovate ideas, technologies, and creativity. Fourth, organizational culture. Kitty avoids cans snake sermons with they card equates when creativity which may include ongoing demonstrations, programs from fairs, organizations and departments course, departments tax and infringement of benign competition between kitty organizations.
5. Local identification. Money sales, which write history, establish paths to development through creative thinking. Therefore, embracing the ideas and diversity is key to the success of a city creative. 6. Urban space and facilities. Public space Public space include those that are physical and virtual. Physical public space are parks, museums, and schools, whereas virtual space are those facilitated by the internet. Public space encourages communication and checks among social class, ethnic group, and occupation. Public facilities are the embodiment of multiple types of creativity. 7. Networking dynamic. Creative city network are divided into international and international network, through which gets a connection. Therefore, the true power of the creation of a local cultural industry lies in how to discover the city local cultural potential and convert such potential through the shared important element. In Taiwan, the product of a city is a relation of overcoming the barriers caused by change due to urbanization and globalization, and the subsequent expectative of self-values. 1.2 Evaluating the performance of cultural and creative industry. Sheng et al. Engage the evaluation of city sustainability includes multi-criteria decision-making, in which the mutual influence and weight of independent criteria cannot be extended in a subjective and relative manner. Therefore, they propose an objective weighting method to define criteria weight in information. They showed that the proposed method can include difference in performance between cities based on various evaluation standards, which minimize the influence of subjective as a strategy emerging industry. CCE can stimulate industry reshoring, transform economic growth, and lead to the development of new and career-friendly cities. Law and change established a political effect evaluation system for CCEH in Beijing that defines with interpret and analysis its effects through quasi-compared evaluation. They conclude that industry policies have been effective implemented in Beijing and the beneficial effect on society and culture have coincided encourage particularly the economic benefits. 2. Methodology. In this study, the weight of the criteria were calculated through the entropy weight method and then ranking of element effective subnetable. The following were calculated through KRA. 2.1 Entropy, where calculation method can be categorized as subject or object. Subject calculation such as with the weight, large score method, a vector method, and expert evaluation with attributes based on subject pression and might lead to beach result.
My name is Agreta Elsiteva. 2.2 Gray Relational Analysis. Gray system theory enables research to conduct relational analysis and construct a model to examine insular or incomplete data in a system. This theory may be used to discuss and analyze a system to establish prediction and decision-making method. It can effectively address the industry of object, multi-input discrete data, and instrument data. In this study, ZRA and entropy which were applied to evaluate the critical element of researching sustainable development. 2.3 Step of Gray Relational Analysis. Gray relational grade is a numeric measuring function the four axes in a gray system. The following list summarizes the computing processing of ZRA. 1. Defining sequence for analysis. 2. Standardizing original variables between sequences. 3. Computing the gray relationship conference. 4. Computing gray relationship grade. 5. Ranking gray correlation. 2.4 Definition of culture statistic. Indicator of core culture and creative activity should be separate from those that measure the city background and social and economic achievements. The framework and content of the four dimensions of culture statistic are described briefly flower. 1. Culture and administration. 2. Culture and education. 3. Culture and society. 4. Culture and industry. In this study, we employed the entropy weight method to obtain the objective weights of each variable. Next, the gray relation analysis was applied to analyze the factor influence decisions of each city. Finally, the key influence factor were sought and discussed. 2.5 Measuring variable. Following the four dimensions secret of the Ministry of Culture in Taiwan and the authoritative literature and combining this with the criteria of indicator selection. The variable and measures are defined in approximately.
Creativity should be driven by CCIS that rely on creative talent to boost development. Therefore, living and working environments that attract talent should be developed. The city adopt novel industry and creative and related space comprise major content, whereas industry comprise subcontent with citizens, consumer, and visitor as subject. Scholars have reported on current methodology for measuring practice related to market selection and expansion, talent cultivation and cooperation, industrial conglomeration, and cross-segment integration. The framework and content of the four dimensions of cultural statistics are described briefly as follows: 1. Cultural and administration. 2. Culture and education. 3. Culture and society. 4. Culture and industry. In this study, we implement the entropy weight method to obtain the objective weight of each variable. Next, the key relations analysis was applied to analyze the factor influencing the CCIS of HAT. Finally, the key influencing factor were solved in this case. 2.5. Following the four-dimensional structure of the Ministry of Culture in Taiwan and the authoritative literation and combining that with the criteria of indicator selection, 40 variables were selected and the objective weight of each was calculated based on the entropy method. 3. Cultural resource allocation in the dimensions. Cultural and creative cultures have their own unique style and form because of the history, geographical environment, and demographic structure, featuring the social and economic structure and relationship and different cultural.
Hello, my name is Oscar Tukahapo. Cultural resource allocation in the wines cities. CC is increasingly critical to economy while weighing in the entire province success the wine. Main criticify is the wine ultimate economy resource, cultural and criticify cultures have their 120 style and forms because of their history. Griprial Evermine and digraphics structure within the kind social and economy. Structure, structure and relation and the wires cultural facilities, land space and migraties, cities and commodities, the wine of creative. Cities derived by cultural and creative development strong trying diversity. Cultural resource allocation in the wines cities. Descriptive statistics. Despite statistics concerning age indicator are presented in the table in the wild cultural. Three in critical aspect of city development strategies to marketing and supplies of local grievances for cultural experiment extreme from regards local city government to scandal cultural. Thank you.
Wake of the number of companies and the industry 0.467. The latter of which signifies the employment environment of CCLS, and as emerging industry characterized by progress in communication technology and transformation from a scale economy into a micro industry in Taiwan. CCLS overall how increasingly become agile, flexible, and creative source of employment. 4.3 Performance Performance evaluation with relation analysis in this section. The week of 8 indicator table 2. The revamp from entropy was combined with the gray that to obtain the gray relation rate table 3 of each city. High values indicate high proximity to the reference sequence, weak significant robust cultural development. This result were then ranked the gray relationship and weak and cultural development quality.
Number 4. Regional comparison analysis. Currently, Table 4 shows that the scope of overall planning of city development in Taiwan is divided into 4 regions: North, Central, South, and East, which was a reference framework for regional analysis, as present in Figure 5. From the regional comparison data present in Figure 6, the Northeast region's culture and administration, culture and education, culture and society, and culture and industry score were 0794, 0836, 0909, and 0745. Respective week were lower than those of the other regions.
Conclusion. The study introduced entropy weight and ZRA in an evaluation indicator system. This model considers the ambiguity, complexity, and quantification difficulty of value creation and research allocation for CCS. However, in real sustainable development practice, the majority of criteria are based on incomplete information. The study is one of the first to theoretically evaluate critical elements that affect sustainable development by using gray and entropy theory with respect to CCS. The result of this study illustrates that under the guidance of government policy compared with the industrial development of cities in western Taiwan, cities in eastern Taiwan and the outlying islands have gradually demonstrated results in various aspects of culture development by drawing upon their culture research. Besides, it also means that the current influence of Taiwan's present research allocation strategy for CCS is successful.